Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Tarpon Springs, located in the heart of the walkable Tarpon Springs Historic District and known as the home of the Innes paintings. We are a liberal community for all ages, promoting spiritual growth, social justice, and the arts. I'm Reverend Kristina Spouty, minister here of UUCTS. I'm glad you are here. I hope that you find meaning in today's service. Please consider joining us on a Sunday morning when we gather to worship as a community every week beginning at 10:30 a.m. on Zoom, or drop in for a more personal visit to one of our coffee hours starting at 11:30 on Sundays on Zoom. Please refer to our website for information about how to connect with us on Zoom. Our service associate will now begin today's service. Let us enter this sacred time with open minds and open hearts.
Welcome and greetings, dear friends. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Tarpon Springs. We are so glad that you have found us this day. To those of you who are finding us for the first time, welcome. And thank you for being with us in our virtual sanctuary of the soul. My name is BettyLou Cummins, and I am pleased to be your service associate today. We offer warm welcomes to all who are with us in our virtual reality. If you have been lonely during our long, troubled time of COVID, with us you will find a warm companionship. If you are afraid or if you've been hurt, if you ache with fatigue, here you will find rest. You will be comforted, your spiritual wounds will be dressed, and your courage will be returned to you. If you seek to understand, here you will be encouraged in your search. New pathways will be lit for you, and wherever your journey takes you, you will know that you can always come home again to this place, made sacred by our love. We are a church of many welcomes. I welcome you now, and I hope that we can greet you in person on a future pandemic-free day at our location in Tarpon Springs. As Unitarian Universalists, we believe in the worth and dignity of each human being. Each person on earth has an equal claim to life, liberty, and justice, and no idea, ideal, or philosophy is superior to a single human life. We welcome all thoughtful people to journey through life's mystery with us. We want to walk with you on the way of holiness and happiness, justice and service. We hope that you feel the blessings of love through your time in our presence. As a congregation, we seek to create a diverse and accepting community based on the principles of our faith, Unitarian Universalism, and we are drawn together in voluntary loyalty. We believe that we need not think alike to love alike. Our message today will be brought to us by several members of our community, describing our experiences with a small group ministry that we have termed a covenant group. The musical portion of the service will be provided by our musical director, Bonnie Whitehurst. We come now to the chalice lighting with words by Bruce Southworth. A communion of heart and soul. For the gift of this day and for our community of spiritual nurture and compassion, we give thanks. We light this chalice as a symbol of our faith. May our many sparks meet and merge in communion of heart and soul.
there was a monastery which had fallen upon hard times. Once a very great order, it suffered a loss of spirit, so that there were only 5 monks left, all over the age of 70. Clearly it was a dying order. In the deep woods surrounding the monastery, there was an old shack to which a rabbi from a nearby town occasionally used to come for hermitage. Through their many years of prayer and contemplation, the old monks had become a bit psychic, so they could always sense when the rabbi was in his hermitage. "The rabbi's in the woods, the rabbi's in the woods again," they would whisper to each other. Agonizing over the imminent death of his beloved monastery, it occurred to the abbot at one such time to visit the rabbi and ask if by some chance he could offer any advice that might save the dying order. The rabbi welcomed the abbot at his shack, but when the abbot explained the purpose of his visit, the rabbi could only commiserate with him. "I know how it is," he exclaimed. "The spirit has gone out of the people. It is the same in my town. Almost no one comes to the synagogue anymore." So the old abbot and the old rabbi wept together. Then they read parts of the Torah and quietly spoke of deep things. The time came when the abbot had to leave. "It has been a wonderful thing that we should meet after all these years," the abbot said. "But I have still failed in my purpose for coming here. Is there nothing you can tell me? No piece of advice you can give me that would help me save my dying order?" "No, I am sorry," the rabbi responded. "I have no advice. The only thing I can tell you is that the Messiah is one of you." When the abbot returned, his fellow monks crowded around him. "Well, what did the rabbi say?" "He couldn't help," the abbot answered. "We just wept and read the Torah together. The only thing he did say, just as I was leaving, it was something cryptic, was that the Messiah is one of us." In the days and weeks and months that followed, the old monks pondered this and wondered whether there was any possible significance to the rabbi's parting words. "The Messiah is one of us?" Could he possibly have meant one of us monks here at the monastery? If that's the case, which one? Do you suppose he meant the abbot? Yes, if he meant anyone, he probably meant Father Abbot. He's been our leader for more than a generation. But then he might have meant Brother Thomas. Certainly Brother Thomas is a holy man. Everyone knows that Thomas is a man of light. Certainly he couldn't have meant Brother Elred. Elred gets crotchety, but come to think of it, Elred is virtually always right. Maybe the rabbi did mean Brother Elred. But surely not Brother Philip. He's so passive, but then Philip is always there when you need him. He just mysteriously appears at your side. Maybe Philip is the Messiah. Of course, the rabbi didn't mean me. I'm just an ordinary person. Yet supposing he did, suppose I am the Messiah. Oh God, not me. I couldn't be that much for you, could I? As they contemplated in this manner, the old monks began to treat each other with extraordinary respect, on the off chance that one among them might be the Messiah, and on the off chance that each monk himself might be the Messiah. They began to treat themselves with extraordinary respect. Because the forest in which it was located was so beautiful, it so happened that people still occasionally came to visit the monastery, to picnic on its lawn, to wander along some of its paths, even now and then to go into the chapel to meditate. As they did, they sensed this aura of extraordinary respect that now began to surround the 5 old monks and seemed to permeate the atmosphere of the place. There was something compelling about it. Hardly knowing why, they began to come back to the monastery more frequently, to picnic, to play, to pray. They began to bring their friends. Then it happened that some of the younger men who came started to talk more and more with the old monks. After a while, one asked if he could join them. Then another, and another. So within a few years, the monastery had once again become a thriving order, and, thanks to the rabbi's gift, a vibrant center of light and spirituality in the realm.
Number 576 in our hymnal is today's reading by Marjorie Bowens Wheatley. A Litany of Restoration. If, recognizing the interdependence of all life, we strive to build community, the strength we gather will be our salvation. If you are black and I am white, it will not matter. If you are female and I am male, it will not matter. If you are older and I am younger, it will not matter. If you are progressive and I am conservative, it will not matter. If you are straight and I am gay, it will not matter. If you are Christian and I am Jewish, it will not matter. If we join spirits as brothers and sisters, the pain of our aloneness will be lessened, and that does matter. In this spirit, we build community and move towards restoration.
Stay in my heart.
How lucky are we? Love is all around. Home to billions of people just like you and me. Love is all around. We're living together as we spin through space. Love is all around. Sisters and brothers of the human race. Love is all around. 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 We're working together for the common good. Love is all around in the greater world and in our neighborhood. Love is all around with a firm foundation and a mission that's strong. Love is all around. All are welcome and all belong. Love is all around. 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 Love is all around.
It's time for the offering for the work and the welfare of this church. Please go to our website, uutarpon.org, and click on the donate button. Or please send your checks to 57 Reed Street. The entire address is right there on your screen. And thank you.
From the light of days remembered, burns a beacon bright and clear, guiding hands and hearts and spirits into faith set free from fear. When the fire of commitment sets our minds and souls ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the stories of our living rings a song both brave and free, calling pilgrims still to witness to the life of liberty. When the fire of commitment sets our minds and souls ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the dreams of youthful vision comes a new prophetic voice, which demands a deeper justice built by our courageous choice. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger
This year has been an extraordinary year. And as we went through this new passage, this new trials, we were given the opportunity to explore what has been termed small group ministry. For us, it was termed a covenant group, introduced to us by Reverend Kristina last fall. Members of the group will share their experiences with this ministry, and we will briefly review the structure of the monthly gathering, our individual experiences with it, and the surprising relevance and power of shared centering around our monthly congregational themes. The three of us that facilitated these small group ministry meetings were myself and Greg Rosasco and Mark Hopkins, and our members varied in size, but mostly a small group is usually less than 10 people. Group members seemed very concerned about the importance of covenant, and the covenant is our promise of how we want to be together. Whether it's a small group or a larger congregation, the covenant is the basic foundation of the Unitarian Universalist faith. And it is very important at the very beginning to raise individual consciousness that the covenant group is a way of experiencing, building trust and honest introspective, exploring spiritual growth. We were fortunate to have a well-crafted covenant suggested to us by Reverend Kristina, and I hope that shows now on your screen. The group reviewed the multiple points within the covenant prior to our first meeting, and we spent some time to discuss it and amend it. The covenant is indeed a most important element. Not only does the purpose of covenant remind us to moderate our behavior, it also creates a holy place. The recognition of our covenant every meeting reminds us of our promise to each other and to ourselves and to the group. It is the act of covenant that creates our small group ministry. The chalice lighting each meeting is the symbol of covenant, and the words of invocation are the encouragement to awareness of spiritual deepening.
Thank you, Barbara. We actually start our meetings, which we actually began back in October. We start out with a little check-in. We always give each other a chance to see how we're doing. It's kind of important to take a little time to make sure we know how we're feeling and what we'd like to bring to the meeting. And just sometimes that, our own personal situation is important in making sure that we can share honestly and openly and people best understand. As Barbara mentioned, we will actually start with a chalice lighting, and we use that time to center ourselves and talk about the basic subject matter, and we really try to define the topic of the theme so that we're all beginning to think, what does it mean? The most recent theme was memory, and all of us had a special way of approaching what that really meant to us. The structure always involves a series of quotes, and those quotes are suggestive of things that we might use as a discussion point, and we then reflect on those, and we try to reflect on either one or more of those so that we can share that singly among the group. We do that in order. We kind of generally volunteer, just name one person after another. After that, we take a few minutes, and then we again come back together and we kind of exchange ideas about what we might have thought of as the other person spoke. We don't try to fix the other person. We don't comment on what they shared. We just talk about our own I statements about those. After the first part of the session, we come back, we take a brief break, and then we come back and we revisit the topic again using a series of questions which kind of stimulate potential personal learnings that we were experiencing as we went through. Again, we do that by first commenting individually, and then after a little break, we come back and share again things that might have come up during the comment periods. Again, talking from our own personal experiences. After that, again, we kind of have a closing area where we examine how the whole meeting went for us and how we felt about our exchange and what we might, if we need to do something different in the future. We end, as always, with a chalice extinguishing. The quotes that are always shared with us, which Reverend Kristina provides for all of these meetings, are always very powerful and very provoking. And it seems that's a very well-crafted way of getting through an important discussion. Pass it on now to Dave.
Thanks, Greg. I was a little late to the party when it comes to the covenant group. I had heard about this when it was first announced and discussed within the congregation, and I really didn't think it was for me. How do you talk about something like wholeness for 2 hours? But afterwards, I had heard other people who participated kind of talk about it, and so I started asking a few questions, and I said, well, you know, this could be kind of interesting. So the group was pretty liberal in allowing me to begin to attend, and the themes they come up with, or we come up with, are there's a universal, I think, definition to the themes, but we talk about what the themes mean to us and to each other. And so when I talk about meeting for 2 hours, I still thought, how are we going to get through 2 hours of this? Well, you know what? When the 2 hours goes very fast, and when it's over, you wish you can talk more. So again, as Greg mentioned, the format is set up to facilitate discussions. You talk about the quotes, you talk about questions that that are being asked. You talk with each other about your personal feelings and what the theme means to you. And at the end of the day, I leave every meeting with a sense of being a little bit better person, and I have a little bit better understanding of how other people perceive things, and I get a lot out of it. So I hope other folks consider participating in these meetings in the future. I really think you'll get a lot out of it. Thanks very much.
Being part of this covenant group has really been a privilege, and I didn't think about it that way at the beginning, but it is a discussion that is not trying to get to a conclusion. There is no right answer, and there's no end point. While we've been prompted with the word or the topic and then the quotes, it's really, to me, a personal inquiry in the confidence of others and broadened by the sharing of the others. So while in my work life I would have said strategic planning was about thinking together, this is really about thinking and feeling together in a safe space. Because of my jobs, I really had to filter my language and what I said out loud pretty much all the time. So I find this group very freeing, and having the freedom to respond to the word or the quotes as I think and feel without having to filter those comments so they match the image or the role or don't end up with a bad newspaper headline. I would share with you, I have found this time together very empowering and freeing, because each of us can take out thoughts or feelings about a topic that we might have been holding very close and very private, and bring them out in public, look at them, think about them, see them, and find out that it's still okay, that it was okay to get that thought out and to examine it and to review it. So I find the Covenant group very inspiring.
Well, I've been involved in other groups in the time that I've been a Unitarian Universalist, and I was involved with several congregations when they had covenant groups going on. And at those times, I was very busy in other activities in the church. And so I held back, I didn't get involved. But I would say I really thought about and decided to join this group because of COVID, because of the isolation that I felt. So it was an opportunity to, reflect on the theme of the month that the congregation was, having services about, but in a totally different way. And each time the theme came up and I had a chance to talk from my heart, I realized that my past religious, experiences, Jewish as a child, and then Jehovah's Witness for 28 years, really colored how I first thought. I had to filter the theme through those lenses first, and then I was free to reflect upon, how I felt about it now, and also how my fellow congregants, the people in the group felt about it. And it was really eye-opening. For example, one time we got into talking about our families, and others shared their close relationships with certain family members. And I realized because of my past, I didn't have those. But in a way, I was able to reflect upon the relationships that I do have, my friends and the few family members that are close to me. It helped me to treasure those. So, and I like the fact too that it's unscripted, that you have the reflections, the comments that you're reading, and you get to think and shuffle your thoughts, because then it's your turn to talk. And so it was really nice not to have have to work on something for many days for presentation. It was freeing to be able to speak from the heart. So I really appreciate the group.
Got it. I thank you, Joe. I feel as if I'm going to be repeating what so many have already said. Like Dave, I was late to the party. I wasn't really sure that I wanted to be involved in such a group. But then Greg sent me an email reminding me that I had signed up, which I hadn't remembered signing up, but thank goodness he sent me the email, so I was able to join the group. It's been a treasure. It's a treasure to explore ideas, spiritual ideas in confidence, knowing that I have a group that I can express myself, like Pat said, in confidence, without what's the word I want? Retribution, without recriminations. I can just speak my mind in confidence. That's a treasure. I love that about Unitarian Universalism. It's what drew me to UUs in the first place. And I joined a church for the first time in my entire life, which has been very short, by the way. Yes, I joined because there are no beliefs absolutely required. We can explore our own thinking, our own beliefs, our own interpretations. There are no rules from on high. And the Covenant group gives us a chance to explore that. Sometimes on the fly, sometimes, like Joe said, we discover things about ourselves we hadn't really taken time to observe. And we can do that in the confidence of a group that we love and we know will love us back and hold our thoughts and emotions and everything else in confidence. It's a treasure. It's a treasure. We do this As the church says, and one of our principles, we love each other unconditionally. And probably my favorite line, and you've heard me say it so many times, of the whole UU church doctrine. We don't have doctrine, I'm sorry, it's the wrong word. The canon, perhaps, might be a better word. We need not think alike to love alike. And the covenant group gives us a chance to express that. That's it.
I want to begin by saying how much I appreciated the opportunity to be involved in the covenant group. It was unlike anything I've ever been involved in. We explored covenant values from so many different backgrounds, from so many different people, and it was so interesting. Experiences and insights that were shared allowed me to look at things from a different perspective almost every time. Many times, those insights and experiences made me laugh out loud. It wasn't all just hardcore sharing, it was a lot of fun. One of our first topics, and it might have been the first topic, was threshold. For me, this was a threshold experience. It led to facing some things that I did not want to face in the past, and gaining an understanding and beginning to make peace with it. You might say, actually, that this has been a game changer for me. Thank you.
I just wanted to share my sense of gratitude for the experience to the members of the group. I learned a lot about myself, but I really developed a great affection, admiration, and commitment to the people with whom I shared over these last 9 months. And I just wanted to say a public thank you for your courage, for your intelligence, for your vulnerability, and for your support. Thank you.
At times in any of our lives, if we are fortunate, we can find ourselves in the right place at the right time with the right people and be able to form relationships and communicate in a very special way. And I refer to that special way as being able to communicate without pretense. And this, as you've probably heard and sensed, has been one of those occasions where a group of people were willing to share, willing to trust, and willing to support each other to the point at which we were able to communicate without pretense, with our guards down, but at the same time, with our ability to rise above some of our own challenges and to listen to each other in a heartfelt and a wonderful way. So my encouragement to us is to continue in that spirit, and to others in our congregation to form these opportunities as they arise and benefit from them, and to spread and share. I am also grateful to have been part of the experience and look forward to continuation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you much.
All.
We look forward to seeing you again.
We are climbing Jacob's ladder. We are climbing Jacob's ladder. We
In closing, may you be filled by Eric Williams. May you be filled with the blessings of this covenanted community. May you carry them with you as you depart from here. May you discover the places in the world where these blessings are needed. May you have the courage to share them. May there be an open place within you to receive the blessings of the people whom you will meet along the way.
Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the light of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the light of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go.
I hope that you found meaning in today's service. Again, I invite you to consider joining us sometime on Sunday morning when we gather for worship as a community. The service starts at 10:30 a.m. on Zoom. You are also welcome to drop into our Zoom room coffee hour any Sunday at 11:30 for friendly conversation. Please refer to our website for more information on how to connect with us on Zoom. If you use the Connect Online button, it will take you directly to any of our activities. We look forward to meeting you.